1985, Alphaville. On Essential Ladies with Ron Stevens. On the phone, direct from Germany, is Marian Gold, lead singer of 80s supergroup Alphaville. International hit makers with such hits as their biggest one, Big in Japan, and The Immortal, Forever Young. The group will be making, believe it or not, an appearance in New York City. Very few they had. It'll be Saturday, August 5th at 8 p.m. at the United Palace Theater. Also on the bill, we want to mention that the former lead singer of Information Society, Christopher Anton, and the Jonases will be on the bill as well. And that's at 4140 Broadway at 8 p.m. And that's Saturday, August 5th. Good day, Marian, and thanks for joining us.
Hello.
I want to just congratulate you on coming back to New York. It's a very limited engagement in the U.S., I'm assuming.
Yeah, unfortunately, we just stayed there for a couple. Actually, for the dates there. You know, I wish we had a little more time staying, especially a little bit longer in New York, because I really love this city.
You have a lot of fans. You have a lot of fans in New York, and a lot of fans listening to Essential Ladies, our show, and always get requests for your Alphaville's hits like Big in Japan and also Forever Young, which that song, I did not know this, but that was the name of the original group.
Yeah, actually, yes, we wrote the song, and when we were pondering about a name for the band, and then for a couple of months we thought Forever Young would be the appropriate name for the band, but thank God we changed it because meanwhile I'm 63 years old, so I'm definitely not forever young.
Well, the song is Forever Young.
It's a very programmatic name, you know.
Now, the song behind the song, because you know what, the song is such an international hit. I mean, it's been released so numerous times throughout the 80s and 90s and even 2000s, and even with Jay-Z making the song huge again, sampling it in 2010. You know, it's just the song has so many generations of fans. Did you ever think that would ever happen when you recorded this song?
No. I mean, if we would have known that, we would probably never recorded it correctly, because we would be so nervous about it. It's really a phenomenon, and I have no explanation for it. I mean, it's just it seems to be a thing on its own. You know, it seems to be the own band. When we were thinking about calling ourselves Forever Young, you know, we were probably thinking about a band called Forever Young,
right,
but not with us inside. You know, it's probably a fictional band called Forever Young with a very real song, you know, called Forever Young. So it's really a phenomenal thing, and I have no explanation for it.
And you know what? And the song,
we did so many things like. In the beginning, when we were writing music, it was basically for ourselves, you know, and for a very limited audience, you know, which consisted out of our friends and people from the discotheque where Bernard worked at that time. And so, no, we were never thinking about how big that would be.
Well, you know, when you have a song that celebrates youth, it knows no time limits, if you think about it. And, you know, that song, though, that wasn't your biggest hit. I mean, your biggest hit, and I know because, you know, we play the music and I'm a DJ. Big in Japan was your, you know, sales-wise and everything, was supposed to be, that was the biggest hit. We even peaked at number 1 on the U.S. dance charts back in the day.
Yeah.
And Forever Young is the one that is immortalized. But what's going on now? I know you have a new LP out, new CD out, 2017. You know, it's interesting because it's so refreshing to hear 80s groups still having output today on the charts. And Strange Attractors, your new one. I love this one. I love the CD. I love the single Heartbreak City. And there's some other great ones on there. Tell me about how this came about.
Well, you know, I wouldn't describe Alphaville as an 80s band. I mean, it's like you would say that the Rolling Stones are a 60s band or the Beatles or whatever. Sure. You know, I mean, we started about that time. And but bands from the era seem to be fixed to their equipment, you know, to the musical equipment, like using synthesizer and stuff. I mean, we did the same thing, but I mean, if we would have been forced, like making music with a coffee machine, we would have gladly done that, So I'm not seeing Alphaville in that department. We've been doing constantly music over the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. Right up to that date now, and I think our music is very much Alphaville, and it's not 80s stuff. I mean, for instance, when you listen to the album, to our actual album, Strange Attractor, I think it's quite timeless music, and it's also lots of guitars in it and regular instruments, which lead you apart from the electronic department. So I wouldn't say that Alphaville is an 80s band.
But you know what?
Long story short.
the new LP, the new CD, I used to call LPs, new CD, Strange Attractor. Not just Heartbreak City. You're so diversified on this. You have the single, the track, House of Ghosts, which I like. Sexyland is good. Fever, I love that one. So, like you said, it's not an 80s band. And plus, also 2010, I have the CD at home, Catching Rays on Giant. That's an incredible CD. I love that. That was really good.
The Catching Rays on Giant was probably more connected to what we did in the 80s when we started. It was much more synthesizer, electronically based music, that what we did on the actual album. And we oscillating between these two polarities, because we did our third album, The Breathtaking Blue, for instance, was very much into the vein of blues and jazz music.
Right, back in '89.
And our fourth album, that was, I think, Prostitute. That was
Salvation.
Salvation came later. Prostitute was the one before. Mm-hmm. I don't think that it was never released in America because of its title. But Prostitute, for instance, was a very eclecticistic album, which covered all kinds of styles, where we were interested at that time. So, my opinion about our music is as I said before, that is pretty timeless music, and it's not really connected. It's more connected to the idea of Alphaville sound than to any time scale or whatever.
Now, what's any future projects going on with not just with you solo or with the group? Any other new interesting things that we should be looking out for with Alphaville?
We're going. The band is going very well at the moment, and since '95 we're traveling all over the planet, and we have 40, 50, sometimes 60 gigs per year where we play, and we play constantly since '95 on.
Wow.
And I'm very much a band member, from my feeling, and I'm very happy, being in the band with all these other fantastic musicians, and I'm not thinking about doing a solo album. I did 2 solo albums in the '90s, in the early '90s, but that was basically because I couldn't convince the other 2 guys, hey, let's do another new album, we have so much new music, and they were not really interested. So in the end, I released the albums, these 2 albums, which consisted out of material that I wrote over the last 5-6 years, and especially in the '90s, I had a huge output, writing music constantly, and that made it necessary to do these 2 solo albums, just to get rid of the stuff, to get all this stuff, all these ideas, these dreams, out of your cupboard and just, bringing it to life.
Will you be featuring some of your solo stuff on the concert this time around?
But let me think. We could do that.
Oh, good.
Because we have a huge repertoire for after all these years, but I don't think. Primarily we will do new songs from our actual album, and then we play through all the repertoire, through the whole repertoire of Alphaville.
Oh, good.
From the very beginning up to the latest days.
Well, right now we're going to be listening to some of Alphaville from 2017 and, of course, their classics coming up next on Essential 8s. But first we have to bid farewell to Marian Gold, and you have a great time leading up with your tour. The new tour is in America. It's coming up this month, coming up in August, in August 2017. And I can't wait to see you and the band there. It's going to be a great time again. Alphaville.
Yeah, I can't wait to come over, to the
New
States,
York. But you're based in Germany.
It's so great, because we the last time we played, we did 2 concerts. The last concert, I think we played in Salt Lake City in 2001. So it's 16 years, we've been there. So
16 years went like that.
Very much forward, to do this.
16 years goes fast.
Yeah.
Especially when you're busy. Again, Alphaville and Marian Gold will be in New York City, appearing August 5th at 8 p.m. at the United Palace Theater. We're going to be giving tickets away for the show, and I can't wait to see. I'll be there as well, and I cannot wait to see you guys. It'll be so great to see one of my great bands. If I'm not I know you're not an 80s band, but I got hooked on you when you first came out in the 80s. And I can't wait to see it live.
You may be allowed to call us 80s.
Oh boy, thank you, Marian.